Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Eden Amadora. Welcome back. And for those of you who are new, this is a place where I speak about walking on a path of awakening, living a heart-centered life, communing with archetypes. I talk about the divine feminine, the sacred masculine, and just what it is to be fully embodied and living a spiritual life in a very real way. Today, I am looking forward to sharing with you about what it is to meet the beloved within and why that is a crucial part of our spiritual path. At one point or another, we will come to recognize that much of what we've been told and what the culture would present about love is quite limited. And I know for myself, growing up with Disney princess movies about this really great romantic love story that one day your prince will come, or your princess for the men, and then recognizing that wherever we go, we really take ourselves with us, and no other being is going to save us or make us happily ever after. This being said, communing, meeting deeply, and finding union with the beloved within is a path of deep joy and embodied wholeness. So as far as going towards something as desire to meet the beloved within first is highly recommended. And then from that place, we can really receive others in their authenticity and their wholeness and recognize we're all human and we're both shadow and light. So just a little more about that from my lens. Often when we fall in love, what's happening, excuse me if I seem a little jaded by saying fall in love like this, I'd rather say rise in love. What's happening often in that sensation when we meet someone that suddenly all the chemicals and the euphoria is flushing through our system, and we are literally projecting on them all of the stories of idealized love and what could be possible. And there's this great heightened sense of ecstasy, joy, bliss, whatnot in their presence because of the power of our own psyche, the power of our own desire, and all that great chemistry we have released in our bodies when that's activated and catalyzed. Attraction is a very powerful thing. When we go into these love stories, eventually after that euphoria and infatuation period, we may find things shifting radically. Some say the chemistry itself cannot stay at that level for more than a year, or sometimes unfortunately less. So when we kind of have the rose-colored glasses come off and that apparent fall from grace, and we're met by another human being, not the idealized beloved of our dreams and fantasies, but another person with all the complexities that make them uniquely them. Oftentimes there's a disillusionment. Oftentimes there's a feeling of, like I said, a fall from grace or a falling out of love. And what if we were so filled with that sense of being in love already that we could meet a person in both shadow and light and in deeper acceptance and build a true love story, not based on infatuation, fantasy, and projection? Well, meeting the beloved within is the path to get there, to be able to have healthy, sustainable, real human relationships. Once upon a time, people were much more in that euphoric love with the divine. Once upon a time on this planet, not so long ago, before the courtly love of the Renaissance era, the era of knights and ladies and jousting, people were more enamored with the divine in a devotional way. In general, there was a deeper sense of communion and union with spirit. And marriages and partnerships were based a lot more on survival in the past. It wasn't until this kind of romantic, courtly love came to be through the bards of the age of knights and ladies the story of Tristan and Isolde came into collective consciousness, and it was one of these almost tragic, romantic, desperate love stories where people started to project this almost divine longing on the opposite sex or the love interest. And the romanticized love that we are so familiar with now became so popular. And now we see it reflected in all our movies, all pop culture, all media, pop songs. It is all around us, and we're heavily subconsciously imprinted with this. Whereas that divine love and that sense of union and communion and own soul, our own higher self, our own connection to the divine is like that yin to our yang, that yang to our yin, our opposite polarity. And as we're with that energy, we feel communion, we feel union, and we recognize this love that's not outside of us, that is actually within us. So this is another shift on projecting the divine as some heavenly body up there, out there, somewhere else. When we take that deeply within our own heart and recognize it's right here, nearer than near, as Jesus said, heaven is right here, nearer than near, so is the divine. And falling in love with the beloved within is to walk a path of divine communion, to walk a path of much more heart-centered awareness, and to be in love, to live embodied love and walk as that in the world. So this is my invitation to you, that this is possible, that this is a path of deep, deep joy and a higher love. Bring me a higher love. Oh, yes, that's where we're heading. I'm excited about sharing these ideas. If you resonate, if you like it, give it a like. And there's much more like this on my channel, so go ahead and subscribe and share with a friend who you think would get a real kick out of this subject too. Much, much love. Bye for now.